Hi, so we're here today at the World Wealth Creation Conference with Anton Kriel, and we're really appreciative to have some of your time. So just a few questions, I'll just jump into it. So how did you get into trading or the
Yeah.
training school?
How did I get into trading? Right at the beginning, I was actually quite young, so 16. So it's back in '95. And I started because I saw documentaries on TV about guys in London who seemed to not be that smart, but were making lots of money in the stock market. So I started going down to the library, reading a lot of books. That really got me started, and then opened a trading account in my mum's name, actually, because I couldn't open a trading account because I was only 16. And then I basically pretended as an authorized trader on the account to be Mr. Kriel, her husband, and put on a deep voice and started punting around in stocks.
Okay.
So that's how I got started.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then in one of your sessions, you discussed like preconditions to becoming a great trader. What traits do you attribute to a great trader?
There's multiple attributes that lend themselves to the trading environment and obviously being a good trader in the end. So how you make lots of money in the stock market, the forex market. I think the main ones, you've got to have an analytical mind. So you've got to be pretty curious, and you've got to back that up with hard work and tenacity. And you've actually got to be willing to back yourself. So you've got to be brave. And also, being brave but not being arrogant. Okay, arrogance is a killer. So humble enough to know when you're wrong. So analytical mind's really important, but you've got to back it up with certain other traits as well. Those traits are the main traits that strong traders have throughout their careers.
And so how do people get started? Any tips on people who are interested in getting to Forex or different trading platforms?
You've got to be really careful as a starter because you're coming into an environment where there's lots of conflict of interest. There's a lot of bad people sitting, waiting for the low-hanging fruit to take their money because they're naive and stupid about the realities of the financial markets. So, for example, like when you Google, I want to learn how to trade, what do you think is going to be on Google page 1, 2, and 3? There's going to be a lot of bad people trying to take your money and tell you lies about things that you need to do. An analytical mind, as we talked about, and curiosity should lead you away from those people. So just assume that your naivety is going to be your downfall if you jump straight in. Take your time, learn the underpinnings and dynamics of how the stock market and the forex market fundamentally works. Okay, and once you've figured that out, then put some real money in a trading account. We had a presentation today where we talked a lot about psychology and the natural tendency for humans to do the wrong things in financial markets all the time. And I mentioned that you can't fake it. You have to do it with real money. Because if you don't do it with real money, it's just fantasy. And when you do it with real money, you're going to learn a hell of a lot more. So take your time, learn the fundamentals, the underpinnings, the mechanics of the industry, figure out where the conflict of interest is, do the opposite to what those guys tell you, and look at fundamentals in most of the time, okay? And then start trading with some real money.
Okay.
And you can't do it with a few $100. You can't open an account and have the lottery mentality and think you're going to turn $200 into $1 million. You're not. That's what they want you to believe because they get paid, right? You need to start with like a decent amount, like $15,000 plus, and then you can leverage that. So in stocks, you can leverage it 4 to 5 times. That's enough for a beginner. Don't go over that amount. In Forex, 6 to 8 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what? Oh, I can't. So Singapore is home now for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I moved to Singapore 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I was in London and I did 2 stints in London.
Okay.
So it was like 2000 to 2007. Left the professional side of trading from investment banks. I was in Goldman Sachs, Lehman Brothers, JP Morgan, I left JP Morgan May 2007.
Okay, so before
just literally a month before the top of the market.
Oh wow.
Right?
Okay.
But then the financial crisis, took a while to take hold, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't really get going till the end of 2007, beginning of 2008.
Yeah.
And so I was just traveling around the world, beaches, jungles, cities, living out of one bag, just chilling out.
So where was your favorite place during that stint?
Well, I tend to split everything up into cities, jungles, and beaches.
Okay.
So favorite cities, probably Buenos Aires and Tokyo.
Okay.
But I could never live in them. Just to visit and go, have a good time, party, have fun.
Okay.
Beaches. I love the beaches in Brazil. Love the beaches in Thailand.
Okay.
Favorite places there: Florianopolis in southern Brazil.
Okay.
And Thailand, places like Phuket, Samui. So jungles, probably favorite place, Central America, Guatemala, very underrated. Please visit Guatemala, it's amazing. So yeah, pretty much saw a lot of the world on my travels.
Yeah.
And then went back to London in 2008 to film a BBC documentary called $1 Million Traders, where it was kind of like an apprentice format, where it's hiring and firing and giving people money to trade in the financial markets. But that was really fun.
Any great success stories out of that show?
Yeah, 3 of the guys out of 8 made money, so they did quite well. And the group outperformed the hedge fund managers over the period. So they outperformed by 4%.
Okay.
So actually, no, 1 was flat and 2 were up.
Okay.
Yeah, so five guys were down, but only one down big.
But they were all from novice.
Yeah, they were just
states.
normal guys.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of like handpicked, through a process.
Okay.
And then I was in London till 2014, and then moved to Singapore.
Okay, wonderful. And then the one question I like to ask is, from birth to present day, what was the best investment in life?
That's a tricky question. Best investment in life. Does it have to be monetary value?
No.
Okay. So I think probably right in the early days when I started trading, just before that. So going to get an education that's self-taught, where I was going down to the library 2-3 times a week. And this is pre-internet, obviously, or just when the internet was started. So all this good stuff, good information just wasn't out there in the ether. You had to go and seek it out, and that was very important for me because it motivated me a lot. It made me realise the opportunities existed. It got me out of where I was living, the economic situation eventually, and ended up in London. That was a huge game changer for me when I started working at Goldman Sachs, and it really just led me on that path at the beginning to success. And outside of that, probably traveling. That was as we mentioned, that was a big experience for me. I don't think you can put a big monetary value on that at all. It's the experience is priceless. You realize a hell of a lot of how the world works when you travel. You appreciate systems that are superior to other systems and economies much more. And you kind of grow up a lot. And then after that, probably getting married to my wife a couple of years ago, and then moving out to Singapore. So increase in lifestyle, much better. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
And then please enjoy the rest of the show.
Cheers.